Ladies and gentlemen, that is what we call a wild one, a wild Chicago Bears game happening in Cincinnati. In the Natty, it was going down as we welcome you into the Take the North podcast, along with Dan Wiederer of The Athletic, who is standing by in Cincinnati at the stadium where it all just went down. I am Mark Grote back in Chicago, Illinois, USA. And again, the Bears beat the Bengals 47-42. Just to give you a quick thumbnail of the end, in this barely dense what happened in the game, but for people who are popping it on and being like, what happened in that Bears game? Well, what I call the fourth quarter death drive against the Bears lose an onside kick, as in the Bengals are able to execute it because Daniel Hardy gets in the way of it. Bengals recover, big passes to T. Higgins and Chase Brown, and eventually a touchdown by Cincinnati late in the game to give them a 42-41 lead to Josivas. And then the Bears end up winning the game on the final drive on a 58-yard play to Colston Loveland. The Bears win it 47-42. Dan, like I said, you're in Cincinnati. What would you like to say to start the show? Because that was crazy, man.
Here's what I would like to say to start the show. I mean, the entire day was a dizzying, disorienting experience here. And you've got this Bears game here today, Grote, that with about 2:30 left, when Tremaine Edmonds gets an apparent pick six and they're about to go up 20 points and a runaway win, you're like, oh, this is easy. Let's get the story filed. Let's get that score in there and let's roll. Next thing you know, they're down by a point and they've got the ball and it doesn't feel like they have any chance of winning. And then the next thing you know, Colston Loveland is free on a 58-yard touchdown catch with the Bengals deciding that they're not going to tackle the big tight end. They let him get open down the middle in a coverage that Ben Johnson was hoping he would get. Two defenders missed tackles. Loveland sprints the rest of the way for a touchdown. And again, the summation of the day, that's how dizzy I am. What a crazy day, because that's just the final few minutes. And this is an entire day, Grote, that started with a kickoff return touchdown on the opening play of the game. Wildness all throughout the game. I don't know how much we're able to get into in the post-game podcast here, but there's a long log of zaniness from this afternoon's festivities here.
I mean, it is amazing when you think about the 98-yard kick return by one Charlie Jones. He's a local kid too, right?
I think he's from Deerfield.
Yeah. Deerfield, yeah, local kid from Deerfield. And man, like relative to the end of the game, that seems like that was days ago. Like that was a perfect way to start this game, which I refer to as just an event throughout this entire game. I don't even know where to go. I mean, there's so many different things that have, like, from trick plays by Ben Johnson, to a DJ Moore. You know what? Just for the hell of it, I want to go there. I would like to go, Dan, to the DJ Moore 17-yard touchdown run, fourth quarter, 5 minutes to go. It made it 41-27 Bears. You also, on that play, had a massive 39-yard run by Kyle Monungai, who we will get to here on the podcast in a second. But on the DJ Moore 17-yard, what turned out to be a touchdown, the ball, you know where I'm going with this, that ball was stopped right on the 1-yard line. And Zach Taylor, the head coach of the Bengals, challenges the play at the Bengals 1, contending that DJ Moore had fumbled through the back of the end zone, which would have been a touchback and a possession for the Bengals. Refs didn't see the fumble, but they did see a touchdown. They end up ruling that DJ Moore, on second thought, guess what? You're wrong, Bengals. Not only are you wrong, here's insult to injury. That's a touchdown by DJ Moore. 41-27 Bears eventually, and you felt like the Bears had won the game at that point, which obviously, Dan, they had not.
Yeah, the officials ruled that DJ Moore did fumble, but after he crossed the plane to the goal line, and it was being referred to in the press box as the bizarro John Fox. If you remember that play that he challenged many years ago.
That's where I was going.
I think it was against the Packers, where he thought that Benny Cunningham had gotten across the end zone, and then they went and reviewed it, and they said, you know what? not only hadn't he gotten across the end zone, he fumbled through the end zone. And so that thing that you thought was a touchdown is actually a touchback, and it's the other team's ball. You talk about the backfire of the red challenge flag throw. That's it right there for poor Zach Taylor, who seemed despondent after the game, who seemed to be in total disbelief, as you'd imagine one would be after a loss like this. And again, Grote, it's crazy because the Bears took firm control of the football game there, but you knew there was still a lot of time left. And you did feel sort of this sense of premature exhalation in the entire stadium. The stands, they thinned out. Half the crowd was gone after that play, and really after the Tremaine Edmonds interception, which appeared to give the Bears a 20-point lead with less than 3 minutes to go. And then it all goes haywire there in the last few minutes. The Bears give up not only 2 touchdowns, but one of them a 2-point conversion attached, so that then they are behind after the second touchdown. There's the onside kick, which you documented. I mean, you could go through every quarter and every drive of this football game and realize how wacky this game was. The Bears had 4 players throw a pass for the first time since 2002. Okay, so they've got Komet throwing a pass early. They got DJ throwing a touchdown pass. They got Caleb throwing his normal volume. And then, of course, as you'd expect in a game like this, Tyson Bagent, the backup quarterback, completing his only pass attempt to the starting quarterback, Caleb Williams. So this is all what this was today. This was a circus. It was a carnival. And the Bears are very fortunate to come out on top. I'll give you this little nugget. This is a good behind-the-scenes nugget because Olamide Zaccheaus probably had the best look at Colston Loveland's game-winning 58-yard touchdown catch. And he's talking about, man, like, I realize we've got no timeouts left, and his legs seem like they're getting heavier, and we know he's got to score because if he gets down, now all of a sudden we got to rush to get that ball clocked and try to get a field goal attempt off. But he scores, and Zaccheaus admits, like, man, it's all a blur at that point. And then when he's asked in his 7-year career if he's ever been a part of a win like this, he reminds us that he was a Washington Commander last year when the Commanders beat the Bears with a Hail Mary. And he said, this tops that. This tops that. And so that gives you an indication of what the emotions were like for that Bears locker room in really taking a game they should have won and then should have lost and then winning it.
Yeah. And the part where the Bears should have won this game was so thick because the Bears kept on almost ending it with interceptions in this game. And the interceptions, I'll just say, kept on getting augmented when there was about 2:50 to go. It's, again, 41-27 Bears with about 2:50 to go in the game. Kevin Byard with a pick. He takes it back
90.
What's that?
90-yard return by Byard.
90-yard return. 90 yards, yes. Deep into the Bengals territory, but called back on a McLeod penalty. Right. And it still felt like, okay, the party is still on. It's okay. And then you had the Tremaine Edmonds pick 6. A pick
2 steps later.
Dude, yes. And it gets brought back because I think it was, I want to say, the running back, Chase Brown.
They thought Chase Brown's left foot caused Tremaine to hit the ground initially. I didn't see it. But look, they ruled him down by contact. They bring it back, and you're like, okay, all right, whatever. Bears just got to go into 4-minute offense, get a first down, and this game's over. And then Britton Brown, practice squad running back, I'm sure you saw that. I think it was 3rd down and 10, and he gets out into the clear for about 5 yards. Then he slides down to keep the clock going. But he may have had a little bit more yardage to try to get the first down. And then you're like, oh, okay, now we're opening the door to chaos. And then a chaotic afternoon, chaos answered the door.
That's a great way to put it. Britton Brown, man, a 22-yard run in the touchdown run in the 4th that made it 30-27 Bears. I stopped by Britton Brown's locker about 2 weeks ago just because of all the injuries that were going on with the running backs. And I was like, are you ready, man? Like, are they telling you to be ready? And he's like, yeah, man. He's like, I'm ready. He's like, I'm going to get out there. He's like, I don't remember his exact words, but it was something to the effect of a paraphrase. I'm going to get out there and do something big. He's kind of looking at me like, you just watch. And there's Britton Brown a couple of weeks after I had that conversation with him, with a 22-yard touchdown run. That was pretty amazing. I was, after this game, Dan, I went out for a little while to meet up with some of our score brethren out at Revolution Brewing in Chicago, where they had the pre and post game going. Olin Kreutz was out there, Pat Manley, Mike Mulligan. But I asked Kreutz, after the game, because he hung out with us for a little while. So we're all just talking off the air and we're all kicking it about this game. And I'm like, I'm like, what is the headline from this game even? Like, what did we learn? What happened in this game? And all Olin Kreutz could say was, the Bears got to win. The Bears got to win, because you just can't go through this game. And we will decipher meaning throughout this game and zero in on things, of course, like we do on Take the North. But Dan, I don't know, like, what is the headline from this game?
I mean, it's that the Bears have a knack for surviving this year for sure. And again, this is against a depleted opponent that's really not playing very well. Their defense is horrific, and the Bears, at times, look, they scored 47 points, so you're not going to really criticize their offense today. But there are moments today where you're like, man, this is looking a little too choppy and a little too uneven. But this team has found a way, right? And they've now won a handful of games here in the last month and a half that they ordinarily lose. And so you do realize that there's a little bit of a swell of belief. There is a swell of poise too. I think a lot of guys sort of referenced that in the locker room afterwards, that they realized as long as there was still time on the clock, they had to, go ahead and try to find a way to win a football game. They were doing a lot of, and I wrote this in my column for The Athletic, I said there was a lot of patting on the back for the belief and the resilience, but that belief and the resilience was nowhere to be found when the Bengals scored 15 unanswered points in a matter of a couple minutes there. And so, look, I also said that, tongue in cheek, that the Bears should kind of revise the way that they review the film on Monday, and they should just take this entire operation down to the AMC 12 at the Hawthorne Mall down the block from Ellis Hall, and just have free popcorn and unlimited soda refills, and just enjoy the entertainment factor of the game, because I think it would be too stressful to go through all of the things that they're going to have to go through. Obviously, they're going to do the latter, and they're going to go through all the things they've got to go through. But from an entertainment standpoint, like, Grady Jarrett said, like, if you showed up here today, you got your money's worth. And I think that was the best way to put it.
Yeah, no doubt. You're right. Because if you're able to watch this objectively, and I imagine our core audience probably can't, it was a hell of a game just to watch. And while we're talking about, I guess this is a good time to talk a little bit about the trick plays, or whatever Ben Johnson likes to refer to them as, the alternative plays, winning plays, whatever. But there were 4 plays that stood out in that regard. The first drive, I think it was the first drive, right? Cole Kmet, the big lefty throwing to Rome, and Rome with the drop there. But what did you think about that with Cole Kmet getting, he's going to be excited to talk about that. Unfortunately, Cole Kmet did not finish this game.
Yeah, well, look, I think Ben Johnson, again, saw what we knew going into this game, that this was a vulnerable defense. And so he felt comfortable dipping into his creativity and trying to strain them in different ways. And you've got a really nice play right out of the gates. And it shows you that the head coach isn't easing into this football game at all, that he's just going to go right for the style points right away. It's a nice throw. And I said, was Rome thrown off by the fact that a lefty threw him the football, right? It's the spin on that football a little bit different. And
interesting.
He's obviously got to catch the pass, right? And that's become a trend here over the first 2 months of the season, where Rome is dropping too many balls that he shouldn't drop. But that's trick play number 1 on the ledger that we're going to go through here, where you're like, man, that should connect. Bears get bailed out on that drive, which happened both of their first quarter touchdown drives. They got bailed out when they should have been off the football field by Bengals penalties.
Yes.
And then they end up making them pay for it with touchdowns, which is huge. And that was one of those drives where they got bailed out after a couple big mistakes.
Second trick play was DJ Moore passing to Caleb Williams for a 2-yard touchdown to eventually, with the extra point, tie it at 7. I loved it. It has been a bitch for the Bears to get into the end zone, and it's been killing them. So I know there's going to be people who are going to be like, oh, you got to resort to the trickery. It's okay. That is a touchdown. That is 6 points, and that is a place, the end zone, that the Bears had not been visiting enough when they got it below the 20-yard line.
That play, our audience should know, is called hot potato. And it's called hot potato because that football changed hands 4 times in 5 seconds, from Dahlman to Caleb to Rome to DJ, back to Caleb, uncovered, end zone, touchdown. DJ said afterwards that he does have the option to run there. And he joked, he said, I wasn't going to be selfish. I was going to give Caleb a little touchdown. And so he made a nice little lob throw there. Caleb, who said that he dropped that more than once in recent weeks as they were trying to get that into their game plan for one of these games, obviously had an easy catch there. He makes that grab, and all of a sudden we've got a tied ball game.
Unbelievable. And then the oh man, I would love to know what the press box scene was for Caleb Williams and Tyson Bagent playing catch in the backfield, and Bagent passing it back to Caleb Williams, who did get a first down out of it. The play, you could say, worked. What did you think of the reason I'm kind of being weird about it is when I was out at the old brewery there was at least one score person host. I don't know if this host wants to be named, who hated the fact that Ben Johnson was doing trickery right there in the fourth quarter at that point in the game.
Okay, so that was fourth quarter. I was trying to find it in my game book. Again, it's a afternoon out here, and I couldn't remember
I got you, man. Fourth quarter,
when that occurred. But here's what I will tell you. It was okay. So it was the Bears' first play of the fourth quarter after they took over after the Austin Booker strip sack. And so here's the view from the press box. People are going, holy cow, Bajan's in the game. Tyson Bagent is in the game. Bagent's in the game. And then it's like, oh my God, what are they making? Wait, Caleb's also in there. Wait, they just thought, and it's just pure chaos, and you're trying to figure out what's coming, and then they obviously run it. I would like to watch that on all 22 because it seemed like there was a deep option also available to Bagent, and I think it might have been Loveland going really deep on that play. Looked like there might have been an opportunity there, although the safety was creeping over, and then Bagent throws it right back across the field to Caleb, who's got blockers in front. It goes for 20, and I'm fine with it. Like Ben is proven, right? Like Ben is proven, and he doesn't put these things in unless he is 100% certain that his players have the understanding of the concept, the ability to execute it with precision, and it doesn't go into the game plan until he gets that play through the checkpoint. The Bears got it through the checkpoint. They ran it. They got 20 yards. I've got no problem with them adding a little sizzle, no matter where in the game that occurs.
Yeah, it doesn't seem frivolous. It didn't seem excessive. Everything seemed to be the plays that he called in that regard seemed to be perfectly within the context of the game and made sense in a lot of ways to me just because of how hard it has been at times, especially winning time for the Bears to get those big plays. And then there was the last play specifically that I wanted to talk about. And it's not a trick play. It's the play that Matt Nagy always wanted, those shovel passes. He's able to get a good one off to Olamide Zaccheaus. That made it 14-10 Bears. I don't know time-wise if it was a long drive, but I know it was a double-digit play, 74, 75 yard
11 play, 74-yard drive, and it ends with the 15-yard pop pass to Zaccheaus. And again, Grote, that's a play where the timing of the motion has to be so exact, and you've got to get that thing timed up really well so that when you get that snap, you're just flipping it to your motioning receiver, and Zaccheaus does the rest. Caleb did a nice job with that. Zaccheaus did most of the work once he had the football in his hands. Got some good blocking on the perimeter and takes it in. And again, you had flashes there where you're like, man, this is what Ben Johnson's 301 offense, to borrow a Matt Nagy reference, is going to look like when you're able to do this on a regular basis with regularity, I should say. And so there was a lot in there today where you're like, okay, they're starting to expand. They're starting to find the places to time up the sizzle. Again, this is against a putrid Cincinnati Bengals defense. They are horrible against the run, horrible against the pass, and they were horrible again today.
So that said, they were horrible. I mean, God, it's like you can't help it. I mean, it's throw up worthy. Kyle Monunga, though, Dan, 26 carries, 176 yards. What's your perspective on that, considering what you just said about the Natty defense?
There's context, right? The context is that the Cincinnati defense doesn't stop anybody, and that you and I could probably run for 75 before we broke our legs, obviously. But it's easy to run the football against this team. What I love about Kyle Monunga is he runs the football with purpose every time he touches it. He gets downhill, he hits contact, and when he hits contact, he keeps his legs churning, and he's moving piles. He's moving piles consistently. Huge day for him today. I think what did he finish up with? 198 total yards from scrimmage. That's a big day for Kyle Monunga. And with DeAndre Swift out, you figured he was going to have a good opportunity, and he made the most of that opportunity. And you say, well, that looks pretty good. And so now, that should give the coaching staff a little bit of confidence to figure out how they can expand his role, use it to complement Swift. There's no need to rush Swift back, right? Like if DeAndre needs another week to let the groin heal up, you've seen now that you've got a rookie capable of handling a full day's work and being very productive with it.
Yeah, Kyle Monunga, 26 carries, 176 yards, also 3 catches for 22 yards. While we're having fun with numbers, total yards today, the Bears accumulated 576. Cincinnati had 495. And then Joe Flacco, good God, Flacco, man. 31 of 47, 470 yards, 4 touchdowns, but the 2 interceptions as well. What was it like watching old man Flacco live and in person today, Dan?
Well, yeah, there was a few moments. I'm going to have to go back in my notes and find the one drive. I do know that the touchdown pass to T. Higgins, the first one, spectacular.
Oh my
Deshaun
God.
Wright is in blanket coverage, and Deshaun in the locker room afterward, he's like, "That's just one of those. You got to give the other guy props." He's like, "I thought I had an interception. I go up. I've played the play perfectly. I go up for the football, and the next thing I know, he's got it and he's in the end zone. And you're
Yeah.
like, what? How did he make that grab like that? Just sensational body control, athleticism from T. Higgins, but a great ball from Flacco. And there was another drive. It started with a pass to the tight end for about 33 yards. And Flacco is kind of engulfed in the pocket and he's so calm. And he lays this little touch pass out to the left side, drops it in there, follows it up a couple plays later with another nice pass on the other side for a big gain. And you're just like, man, this is like veteran command at its finest when you watch a guy who's so unfazed by bodies around him,
Yeah.
understands where the football needs to go, knows what he's looking at with the defense. And so, yeah, for him to go, here's a good press box nugget for you. We're sitting up here in the press box afterwards, and I'm about 10 seats down from the Tribune guys nowadays. And Brad Biggs says something very straight faced, and he goes, in his last 5 quarters against the Bears, Joe Flacco has now thrown for 3,000 yards. And Sean Hammond just looks up from his computer. He goes, "Wait, what was that?" As if like, do I need to get this in my story? 3,000 yards, but it feels like that, right? Like,
Yeah.
Joe Flacco's fourth quarter magic a couple years ago in Cleveland. It was replicated today here in Cincinnati.
Yeah, and if you're a rounder offer, he almost threw for 500 yards today. It was quite a prolific day today. Caleb Williams, 20 of 34, 280, 3 TDs, no interceptions, and one hell of a dart of a throw to Colston Loveland at the end of the game. We'll pick apart Caleb's game, and there was some inaccuracy in the first half, but he played like a man in the fourth quarter, and that 58-yard play to Loveland was something to behold.
Preliminary nugget for you. Yeah, I mean, first of all, that play, the Bears got the coverage they wanted, and they're able to hit the pass. And at the time, you're thinking they just need to get in field goal range here, right? Like they've got to give Cairo Santos a chance to win this game.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden, Loveland pinballs off the first safety and then off the second safety, and you're like, oh my God, this is going to happen, right? And he's just sprinting the whole way trying to get across that end zone, and it's going to be a play that goes down. Obviously it saved the day today, Grote, but there's a chance it rescued the season, because if the Bears had lost this football game in that fashion to fall back to 500, I don't know how they get back up quickly for next week's game. And instead, they get on that plane with nothing but good vibes, with nothing but smiles and laughs and energy from the ability to pull this one out in the end. And that plays such a big part of it. I was telling you just a minute ago, the Bears are never in shootouts like this. We looked it up. This is only the third time in 106 seasons that the Bears have been in a game where both teams have scored more than 40 points. So that tells you how rare this type of shootout is for the Bears. The Bears are now in the Super Bowl era 2-80 when allowing their opponent to score 35 points or more. So this is a very rare victory here for the Bears on multiple fronts.
Well, hell yeah, man. That makes this victory even bigger. And as you said, yeah, the Bears, they host the Giants on Sunday, and then it's quite a gauntlet. I mean, you could even say that they're in the midst of it, considering these last 2 were road games, but they host the Giants Sunday, then at Minnesota, home against the Steelers, at Philadelphia, at Green Bay. So the fact that the Bears managed to do everything they had to do to come back and win this game, as you stated, Dan, that was huge for them. T. Higgins, 7 catches for 121 and just a couple of just unbelievable catches. Jamar Chase eventually got his after the Bears did a really good job on him for a lot of the first half, at least the first quarter. 6 catches for 111 yards in the game. Dan, I don't know what else you have, but why don't we give out some game balls to this? And this will be difficult to give out just 2. I'm sure we can honorable mention people, but who would you like to, Dan, give a game ball to? And I'm looking forward to what Adam's got as well. And I'll go third. So Dan, you go first, stud second, and I'll go third.
I'll take the obvious one here, and I'm going to give it to rookie Kyle Monungai. Again, taking advantage of that opportunity, averaging 6.8 yards per carry, 176 on the ground. He adds the 22 on the 3 catches. That's a big-time performance from a rookie who didn't seem fazed at all by anything that was thrown at him today. To have that production, that's very worthy of a game ball. I'm sure he probably got one from the Bears themselves. He's getting one from Take the North as well.
Grote, I'm gonna go ahead and lend you the layup, and I'll go with the outside the box one. I'm gonna
Okay.
go with Austin Booker with
Not
a
bad.
sack fumble, a really important sack fumble in the second half that allowed the Bears to a turnover that going into that drive after the Bears took the lead there in the third quarter. I was just begging everyone for just to stop, just get a stop. and
Yeah.
and he came up with that sack fumble, and the Bears were allowed to they kicked a field goal there, right? But that was a really important play in that game, and they probably don't win the game without that because we saw the Bengals continued to move the ball at will outside of the interception inside the 5-yard line later in the game. So I'm gonna go with Austin Booker. And we'll see where Austin Booker goes from here, because I thought that was a nice little flash play against Orlando Brown where he just kind of shoved him aside. It was a really, really good rep. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Austin Booker. And Grote, I assume you will do the right thing with
If doing
with
the right
last ball.
things means taking CJ Gardner Johnson, who actually, by the way, CJ Gardner Johnson, a third down sack way back in the second quarter of this game.
He had a fine game.
He did have a fine game.
Even on that touchdown that T. Higgins caught. I mean, that was just a great throw and catch. He was right there. Yeah. So yeah, he had a fine game. But I assume you're gonna do the right thing to give the ball to 84.
The right thing would be Colston Loveland, 6 catches, 118 yards, and 2 TDs. And I did though in my head say, and I know again, like Caleb Williams had his moments that weren't great. I was thinking about giving a game ball to Caleb for the 58-yard pass to Loveland, but Loveland made it happen. So he gets my game ball. Hell, I mean, God, you talk about a guy who needed a game like that. Look, the pressure is immense for first-round picks in this league, but there is a reason for it. The Bears obviously had a chance to take Tyler Warren, who has been playing his ass off in Indianapolis. Just needed to see something like that, and I think this will make everybody breathe a little bit easier, whether you are a fan, in the media, and certainly if you are Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams.
By the way, Colston Loveland, more action after Cole Kmet left the game with a concussion as well, and so that's a notable footnote as we go forward. Cole obviously comes back from the back injury, gets a concussion today. Seemed okay leaving the locker room today, so we'll keep tabs on that as the week progresses.
Okay, guys, before we close out, I already explained this thing to Grote, and I texted you guys about this last night. This has been weighing on my mind as much as the Bears game has today. So yesterday, the IHSA, the Illinois High School Football Playoffs, started this weekend, and my high school is in the playoffs for the first time in 12 years. 2013 is the last time they were there.
Very proud of you.
Thank you. It is actually like a really good thing that they like. It's great to see the program back.
I get
seriously, like when I was in high school, my senior year, we marked the 6th year in a row we were in the playoffs. So like it's a really good thing to see them back. But so they played Fairfield High School, and my high school won the game on a field goal at the gun. However, my buddy who I played with was at the game and told me about the ending, and it didn't seem like it should have happened the way it did. He then sent me a video of the last few plays, and let me break down for you what happened. My high school, Porter High School, had the ball. Where this video picked up was 2nd and 10, second and goal from the 10-yard line. We ran the ball up the middle. Clock's running with about 24 seconds left. We get on the ball right away, right? As you should. No timeouts left. Instead of doing what he should have done, our quarterback kneeled the ball. He just kneeled the ball. Clock keeps running, right?
Yeah.
The refs do not respot the ball. They just let us get back on the ball right away. Our quarterback, who's the coach's kid, by the way, gets on the ball and spikes it.
Wait a minute.
That was 4th down. Game should be going back to the other team. Game really should be over. But the refs, for whatever reason, just ignore what had happened and allow us to line up and kick the game-winning field goal as time expired from the 10-yard line. And we won the game. Not just magic. should not have happened.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It is the most egregious thing I've ever seen.
Protest against Studzinski's high school.
No, seriously, like it's what's crazy is as an alum and someone that actually played for the literally bled, sweat, and cried on that field. I'm watching this and I'm like, I don't feel good about this. And
you should feel guilty.
And so apparently I just found this while you guys were recording this podcast. My sister, who's also obviously an alum of the high school, I found our head coach told the local paper today after reviewing the film, he recognized that they should not have had the ability to kick that ball and said, quote, I don't know where we go from here.
I forfeit and we're out of the playoffs.
I honestly, they shouldn't be playing anymore. And look,
no, they shouldn't.
It's a
great story though. It really is.
And so I'm sorry. I know this is I don't know how many people really care about high school football, but I feel like this is an incredible sports story.
It is a good sports story.
This is wild. The fact that they allowed all this to happen, that the officials screwed up to this level, that our quarterback took a knee instead of spiking the ball. And there's so many levels to this. And like the thing is, the IHSA who runs the sports in Illinois, if you don't know what IHSA is, they said that all decisions by the officials are final. So you can not protest the game.
It's over.
Game's over. Game's over.
I'm gonna go home.
Just like this one today. This one's over too. Yeah.
Yeah, but if we, high school, decide to forfeit, if they decide that, hey, no contest or whatever, we forfeit, then I don't know. It's honestly crazy. And in the next 48 hours, we might see the first ever first round forfeit on a game.
Wow.
And honestly, whoever
there'll be a rule change. There'll be a rule change. The referee's word is not final.
Well, and honestly, whoever won this game is going to get crushed by the number 1 overall seed the next round anyway. So I not that I would wish that on my high school.
That was your Super Bowl.
They're going to get crushed. They're going to get crushed.
All right. Who's your high school again? Who's your high school again? Just to give
Porta High School. Porta High School, the Blue Jays.
All right. Yeah. Shout out to the Porter Blue Jays.
Porta. P-O-R-T-A.
I'm sorry. The Porter Blue Jays.
Yeah. On their quote playoff win.
Congrats to the fellas.
It's really an insane sports story. So I needed to bring that to you guys. And by the way, this Bears game.
Crazy. Also crazy NFL game.
Also crazy. I think that this is one of the greatest, or one of the wildest NFL games I've ever seen.
It really is.
There's no question. There's no question.
I don't know how you. I don't know. This is the game of the year so far in the NFL. What an incredible game, and thank God they won, because this podcast could have been a death march. So anyway, that's all I got, guys.
Great talk to you out there.
Yeah. No, honestly, you're right though, and we'll talk about it all week. The season would have been on the brink if they had lost. It really would have been. We'd really be thinking nightmarish things if that had happened. But Dan, I'm ready to get us the heck out of here.
I got the custodian staff shooing me out of here, so I got to get rolling here. I'm the last one of many sorts up here, the last sign of life up here in the Paycor Stadium press box.
God bless you. We'll talk more about Dan's experiences and this game throughout the week on Take the North. So for Dan Wiederer of The Athletic, for Adam Studzinski, our executive producer, I am Mark Grote from The Score, saying thank you for listening to and watching the Take the North podcast.
Great talk. See you out there.